Hello, 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 everybody. I am your host, Gabrielle Brown, and if you are new, welcome. This is the Happily Living Podcast. If you're not new, welcome back. So, as you guys probably know, I just came back from Italy, a 3-week trip that, as we will discuss, didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. And it wasn't because of the gorgeous environment that I was in, but more of a mental threshold that I got in my own way of. And so today I want to talk about self-validation and understanding how our feelings can be the source of enjoyment no matter where we are, or the reason we find ourselves unhappy and how we force ourselves to feel selfish or maybe even have a lack of empathy for ourselves because of the surroundings we find ourselves in. And I've been going through this quite a bit during my trip in Italy, and it sucked. It really did, because one, comparison is the thief of joy. Now, it wasn't necessarily about what someone said or what someone had, and it didn't more so feel like it was comparison ultimately, but it was 100%. It was about outfits, my body, my body figure, my legs, whatever else. It would be very minuscule comparisons, but nonetheless, it was still comparisons. And I was noticing overall how subconsciously I was just unhappy going through these thoughts, and my feelings and actions were showing that at the end of the day. And I could see how I was really being affected by these small habit changes as well in my day-to-day. Like trying to get cute pics for Instagram, trying to look cute for the pics, trying to do my hair for the pics. Then I was looking at my stomach, I was looking at my legs, and then I started picking at my face again. And if you don't know what that means, it's literally what it is, picking at your face. It had been so long since I did that. And what it is like you look at your face for so long in the mirror and you're like, oh, I got a pimple, oh, I got blackheads, oh, I got this. And not to mention when I would pick at unready pimples or like trying to find things to get on my skin like blackheads and nothing would come out, it would leave me feeling so unsatisfied in the end. Completely. It sucked. And I was bringing back all of these habits that I worked so hard to get over, and they just easily came right back. And once I started repeating these habits, I would even tell myself I shouldn't be doing this. Literally as I was doing it. It wasn't kosher. I wasn't listening to myself. I was literally attacking my skin when it wasn't even bad at all, you guys. Like, no one can see all of these little things because no one is looking at me with a friggin' microscope. Like, I needed to chill. I tried journaling, but I wasn't giving myself my full attention and clear space of mind with all of the millions of flies they had in Italy. Like, it was honestly mind-blowing. And it was hard to feel at peace in order to do things like that. So it wasn't helping. And I'm telling you, like, I was thinking of like, okay, maybe this is a way for me to feel like, okay, there's little things in life that cause irritants. There's little things that like make you feel really annoyed in your surroundings. And to overcome that is to ignore that. But it was so freaking difficult, you guys. It was so difficult. Being in an area where you had at least 6 flies on you at once, and I'm not being dramatic, my parents, my siblings, Ben, everyone, even Paige, they know, because they were there, how many flies were there. It was insane. And I'm not going to talk about flies that much on my podcast. But it was difficult to get over that feeling of them just like crawling on you and buzzing around you, and literally like even horse flies were there, and I got bit by one in the airport, but that's not important. It was just a lot. It was a lot. And after having a full-blown fly assassination, I tried meditating. And this was in Cinque Terre, but by the end of the second meditation, in order, I did one and then another, I just wasn't fully focused. And I noticed that my mind was just going in other directions and not in the present, not staying. And even when it was, it wasn't helping me. It wasn't. And not to mention, it didn't help that all I was smelling was a bunch of cigarette smoke, during my meditation, or frankly, wherever you go, because they smoke cigarettes like crazy. And I mean, the cigarette smoking and the Lord of the Flies situation was a constant throughout Italy, to my surprise, at least with the flies, but I didn't really get much time to be alone and recharge and do self-care and find myself space without something going on, whether it was like mentally or physically. And granted, my face masks, all of them, I think I brought 4, were thrown out by the Swiss TSA, who was on my case about how many liquids I had, regardless of them being under 3 ounces. Listen, I take care of my skin and I enjoy skincare, and face masks are a part of my self-care. Leave me alone. Ugh. It was a difficult time, let me tell you. It was just a feeling of one thing after another. Literally. My first week in Tuscany, I got sick. Literally sick. Then I got 5 canker sores at once. Then, to top it off, I got a cold sore. So, in the city of love, I couldn't even kiss my boyfriend. Not to mention, I was getting eaten alive by the amount of mosquitoes that literally equaled my skin surface. I had one on my forehead, you guys. I got a mosquito bite on my forehead. And with eczema, it makes your skin, I swear, it makes it thinner. And so when you're like itching it, not for very long either, it'll get raw. And it also makes mosquito bites feel very much heightened. So it's terrible. I had 7 on me at once. And the next morning at 6 a.m., I'm wearing, wedges. We're all cute. We're going to go to like some museums, and we had to go like on a taxi to go on a train that was like 4 hours away. It was a long story. But they had this like electric box or whatever. I couldn't see because it was dark. It was 6 a.m. The sun hadn't even risen. And I tripped and I fell right on gravel. And I was fine, but my knees were cut up and open and bleeding. It was just, I was a walking traffic cone, you guys. I was literally a caution cone at this point. But I still kept going. I gave myself credit. I was like, you know what? Keep throwing things at me. I'm gonna get through it. But while courageous, anxiety got to me. And I started getting onto myself. Like, why am I not grateful right now? Why am I complaining about all of my first world problems as I'm literally traveling in Italy with some of the most important people in my life? I kept throwing all these similar commentaries my own way. Like, how am I not happy right now being in such a beautiful place? Getting to be in my second continent within months from each other. Like, etc. Like, I was just being so hard on myself. I wasn't being my own advocate, and I wasn't validating my own feelings. And so let's consolidate everything, because it's quite a bit. I was comparing. I wasn't giving my best effort and attention to myself that I desperately needed. I wasn't validating my own feelings, nor was I being there for myself. I literally let all these things kind of... What is that? That doesn't sound good. Oh, you guys. I'm gonna keep that in because it's kind of fun. No, I'm just kidding. But I found myself just really letting all these things, all of the like negativity get to me. I really did. And I went into destruction mode. But I was aware of it all. How is it helpful though when you can't feel in control of doing anything to change it? What is the point of being aware? I was literally having a world war inside my body because I was aware of it all. And the days started getting to me where I was just silent. I just didn't care what we did or where we went. And Ben noticed before I did. He noticed something was wrong when I just felt like I was tired. But I was tired, but it was of the stress. It wasn't because of lack of sleep. And that night, I fell apart. I let everything out that I didn't even know was in there or how I truly felt. And it felt so incredibly relieving afterwards to finally let everything go and not hold on to it in my head or in my heart. And yes, that sounds cheesy, but it's true. When we keep everything in, it takes a toll on us mentally and emotionally. Mentally meaning mind, and emotionally meaning heart. And side note, I have to share my appreciation. Ben, you were incredible. He was literally there for me when I wasn't there for myself. And for that, I am so, so grateful. I am not surprised. He's always there for me. But I really needed that in that moment. And obviously, I wasn't able to do that for myself. And he validated my feelings, and he helped me acknowledge that feelings don't care about the location nor the situation. And the other night, I watched The Fault in Our Stars, and I remembered the one silly, cheesy line that stuck to me like glue afterwards. Pain demands to be felt. It's important to validate our own feelings. It's important to listen to yourself when you say, I shouldn't and I'm not gonna be, like poking and prodding my face anymore, and actually following through with it. To take your own advice, therefore letting ourselves know subconsciously that we do respect our own opinion and we can trust ourselves to do the right thing for ourselves and respect our own opinion. To know that we are good enough as we are, and to compare or shame ourselves as not good enough is far from the truth. To get in our own way is normal and it is human, and being human is hard. It is so hard. But nothing worth it is ever easy. And acknowledging that we are going through these feelings, no matter the we should be grateful thoughts, is a way to overcome that self-war we put ourselves through. To validate our own feelings, knowing that no matter the situation we are in, if we feel this way, our feelings are valid, and it is okay. It is okay to feel the way you are feeling. It is okay to feel like one thing is coming after the other and you're tired of it. It is okay to feel overwhelmed by all of your thoughts, because regardless of what is going on around us, we can still be going through something, and we should validate and acknowledge that. And I've got to say, on this trip, it was rough in the beginning. It was, as you can tell. But afterwards, I felt so much better. I still felt some feelings about the trip, like the fact that the tourism was overwhelming, and I didn't love how I couldn't just sink in with the culture like I did in Africa, even though I myself was a tourist. It doesn't mean I didn't enjoy Italy or the trip, but it meant that I would literally watch Luca at the end of the night after dinner, because it provided me ease to my anxiety, and I got to enjoy a version of Italy without the thousands, and I'm not exaggerating, thousands of other tourists around. I mean, we didn't even know, but it was the peak of the season for tourism in Italy, and it was brutal. It was brutal. It was enjoying, and there was various things that I loved, and it was incredible and it was beautiful, but it took a toll on me. And there's just feelings that with the tourism, I just couldn't fully enjoy where I was at. Now, with that being said, it meant that my feelings were there, and I ignored them and belittled them, and I was hurting my own self. And we all do that every single day, or hopefully not, but we do that in our life in general. And I just, with my feelings, ignoring them and belittling them and hurting myself, I wasn't able to show up as the person I've been working so hard on, and finding the glimmers in life, my therapist calls them, instead of the things that bother me. And the glimmers are the little things in the day that put a smile on your face. So by finding those glimmers, you're able to, find little things that make your day. So you're able to focus on the greater things. And while I did do that, it didn't feel real. It felt fake. I was literally hiking the path of the gods, and it was absolutely beautiful, but yet it didn't feel real, in a way of me feeling absolutely astonished. it didn't feel real. And that was with the feelings of just not understanding what was going on. And that happens. Sometimes we find ourselves in some of the most beautiful places and we're just like, this is cool. This is great. But it doesn't resonate with you. And that sucks. But it happens. And I gotta say, I was making myself feel like absolute shit for it. It took me a while to even want to do this because, like, this podcast on this, but I needed to. It was important. But the reason why it made me feel awful about it was just knowing where I was at and how beautiful it actually was and what I was feeling in that moment. It just didn't feel like they truly equaled each other. Like, I should have been feeling like, this is amazing. And while I did, it didn't feel real, if that makes sense. And I know I'm not the only person that goes through this. And that's why I'm sharing this. Because we don't validate our own feelings and we don't create that sense of trust within ourselves. And then we look for it in other people when they don't give it to us. And we just feel so unfulfilled with everything and everyone. And that feeling alone just sucks. It does. Trying to look for validation in someone else when you can't give it to yourself sucks. So, validate your feelings. And easier said than done, I'm sure. But be aware of that. Know when you're getting in your own way and fighting against yourself, trying to be there for yourself, but also making yourself feel like you shouldn't be feeling this way because you are in a place where not a lot of people get this opportunity in their life. Like, why are you feeling unsatisfied? Why are you feeling unhappy? You should be happy. You should be grateful. Those thoughts, that's the war I'm talking about. And that is what is creating trauma and guilt and grief and various feelings inside yourself that boils, and you have to heal. You have to figure that out. You have to figure out what to do in order to be there for yourself, because those feelings are not sustainable. It takes away a lot of your energy. There's some statistic or something that I learned a long time ago, and I probably should have looked this up, but I didn't think about it. But your brain, I believe, uses at least like half of the caloric energy you put in your body every single day. So when you stress, when you literally get pain in your head because of how much you're stressing and all the things you're worrying about and your feelings and the fight that you're putting against yourself, all of that takes a really big toll on your energy. And you get tired, and it's not a sustaining thing for you to do for your body. You can't be eating all day and think, okay, now I can do it. Like, that's not what you should be focused on. You should be focused on healing yourself so that way you can have a quiet mind. We were in a city. I was struggling to find nature in a way that wasn't surrounded by 100 people. And that was difficult for me because nature is where I go to when I'm stressed. So it was pretty difficult for me to find something to do when I think at the end of the day, what I was being taught was when you don't have surrounding things, crutches to fall on to help you in those moments, how can you be there for yourself? And I wasn't being there for myself. So, with that being said, be your own best friend. Show up as the friend you've always wanted. Establish that strong sense of validity and trust so you can feel comfortable and confident in your own skin. And I've said that before, but I'm saying it again because it's important. It's needing to be emphasized. And I hope this all resonated with you because it was important to talk about. So, with that being said, while growth isn't linear, it is something we have to go through in order to grow. And you will get over that hill again. You will. It sucks right now, and it's all a season, it's all a phase, but it's just temporary. So I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week and weekend. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give a good old rating on the show. And it would truly help me and benefit my show if you post while you're listening to it on Insta, or even share it with others that you know would really enjoy this podcast. I will see you guys next Thursday for another episode. With love.